So Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark just took place in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 15. It wasn't Blades versus Lewis. It was Smith versus Clark was the main event of that fight night, and I stayed up until 6 a.m. for Smith versus Clark as a main event, proving once again that I don't care what card it is. I will stay up on a Saturday night in the UK until 6 a.m. and I'll watch every damn fight, regardless of how boring some of them get. However, this main event was not boring. It started off very fast. Devin Clark goes out there, as I expected, a little bit wild, throws a switch kick to the head, throws some big punches. I thought he was going to immediately push Smith up against the cage, which is what he did. Smith turned it round and ended up getting a takedown of his own, which is something we don't actually see from Anthony Smith very often in his fights, which was good to see from Anthony Smith because it's nice to see someone take initiative in something that they've been controlled with their entire career. Because if you look at Smith's previous fights, he shot one takedown against Glover Teixeira that he didn't really even get. It was like a defensive one that he shot out there. Didn't shoot one against Alexander Gustafsson, even when he was getting outstruck. He didn't shoot one against John Jones. He shot one against Ozdemir in the 4th round or the 3rd round once Ozdemir was gassed. Didn't shoot one against Rashad. Didn't shoot one against Shogun. Finished them both in the 1st round though. But this fight, he made a change. Didn't even shoot a takedown against Alexander Rakic to try and shimmy things over. But this fight, he made sure to get the takedown first so that he can control where the fight goes. Rather than always being on the back foot, he wanted to lead the dance, which was a good game plan. He took Devin Clark by surprise, immediately got a great takedown. Looked like he was going to control Devin Clark there, but Devin Clark had a good scramble in him once Devin almost had a triangle. Not a triangle, sorry. He got the triangle in the end by submission, but he almost had a twister on Devin Clark, but Devin Clark did a good job of having wrist control, which meant that Anthony Smith could not break free and get both of the hands required for a twister. But there was a second in that fight where we were in a kind of Moreno versus Royval position, and Anthony Smith ended up not going for the twister because he couldn't. Devin Clark was defending well. He scrambled out of it, ended up on top, reversed the position, was looking good. Maybe he would control Smith on the ground like Alexander Rakic could, because you know Alexander Rakic, kickboxer, not really a jiu-jitsu guy, but was able to dominate Anthony Smith on the ground. Smith had no success in that fight whatsoever and couldn't even get a submission attempt off in that entire fight. Like, the only submission attempt he went for against Gustafsson he got. Didn't try a single submission attempt against Glover Teixeira, not a single one against Alexander Rakic. But yeah, not a single one against John Jones off of his back. But yeah, he ends up getting the job done against Devin Clark by triangle. Just got wrist control on the right arm of Devin Clark, pushed his arm down, brought the leg over the shoulder. It's just kind of a traditional triangle. Got the job done, tightened it a bit more. Devin Clark, in my opinion, could have shimmied over into side control, maybe alleviated some pressure on that choke, but Smith had it locked in, very tight. Got the job done, and then eventually Devin Clark tapped, couldn't take the choke anymore. Tapped it out, and Anthony Smith gets a 1st round submission win. I picked Devin Clark to win this fight, in all honesty. I picked Devin Clark to go out there, grind away Anthony Smith for 3 rounds. It was originally a 3-rounder, and it got made to a 5-rounder, so my prediction would have been wrong either way. But still, I thought he was going to grind out Anthony Smith the same way Alexander Rakic did, because mainly, Rakic's game plan isn't to do that to someone. You know what I mean? Rakic's game plan is to stand there and trade and be on the feet with guys. That's what he does. He's very defensive. He fights off the back foot. But he went out there on a plan B and just dominated Smith on the ground. And Smith had absolutely nothing for him, even though he's a striker. And then Clark, who's a grappler, mainly, trains at Jackson Wink, has experience with John Jones, who has fought Anthony Smith before. And he was even talking about in his pre-fight interviews that he was talking with John Jones about game plans. He went over tape with John Jones next to him, talking about how he was going to beat Anthony Smith. And I think that maybe they didn't really do as much triangle defense, but Anthony Smith gets it done. Lionheart, not really even a Lionheart, just a lion, basically, because he didn't need to come back from anything for once. So he gets the job done. 1st round submission, makes it look easy. You know what I say, Anthony Smith? Stay active. You're not a young spring chicken. He is how many years of age? I believe he's about 32? Just creeping out of his prime. I'm going to double check that right now on Google to see if I'm correct in my statement. But he's 32 years of age, sneaking out of his prime. In my opinion, he should look for names like Nikita Krylov, who's going to need an opponent coming up soon. Maybe even a Volkan Ozdemir rematch could be potentially quite good for him in that division. A Johnny Walker matchup could also be quite good. A Jimmy Crute matchup could also be quite good. A Magomed Ankalaev matchup could also be quite good. The light heavyweight division right now is a perfect place for Anthony Smith to to be to get another top contender. Then if he wins that one, we'll jump him back up the rankings. But Anthony Smith gets the job done against Devin Clark in the first round by submission. I thought this was a lock of the night, even as an underdog, because of just the way that Anthony Smith has looked time and time again in his fights over the recent years. However, even at the weigh-ins, like, I was a little bit questioning how it would go, because Devin Clark isn't the biggest guy in the light heavyweight division. He carries about 50% of his weight in his legs, so maybe Smith could outrange him on the feet and get a KO there. But then once I saw Anthony Smith on the scale, and how saggy he looked, and how out of shape he looked, I thought there's no way he wins. I thought that Devin Clark would beat an in-form Anthony Smith. But once Anthony Smith showed up on the scale looking deflated, no chest density whatsoever, no definition to any of his muscles, not a single ab in sight, just flabbiness all over him. The worst shape we've ever seen Anthony Smith in his entire career, I would argue, because of course he used to fight at middleweight, so he had to be in better shape there. The worst shape we've ever seen Anthony Smith in his entire career. He goes out there and gets his best performance ever. I think this could be a new thing for Anthony Smith, the no camp Smith, or the no trying in camp Smith, and coming in bad shape, get quick finishes against a guy like Devin Clark. But maybe it was just the case that Devin Clark, that's his ceiling. Maybe he just can't beat that certain level of guys, because he did beat Alonzo Menifield, but Alonzo Menifield went on to get KO'd by OSP. So maybe Devin Clark is just that middle guy around just outside the rankings. We'll see how it goes, though. Interesting time to be a light heavyweight, though. I reckon Anthony Smith could even look for a fight with Yoel Romero coming up in weight. He could volunteer himself to fight Rumble Johnson if he wants to get a good position on a card, but maybe they'll put him in the main event again. I just thought, after seeing Smith on the scales, there's no way he comes out there looking better than he has done before at this ripe old age of his. And this isn't a normal 32 either. This is an Anthony Smith who's been in wars his entire career, 33-16. Bunch of KO losses, a bunch of damaging losses, regardless if they were KOs or not. Gets his best performance looking in the worst shape possible on the scales. Good job for Anthony Smith. This whole card made no sense. So it just, Smith gets the job done. Good triangle win. I'd like to see him versus like a Johnny Walker. I reckon would be a good matchup. And turn him around quite quickly as well, because we need fights, but not too quickly. Let him have Christmas. Let's bring him back around the end of February, maybe the start of February, something along those lines. Johnny Walker, Nikita Krylov, preferably Nikita Krylov, because he beat Johnny Walker, so I think he deserves a jump up in the rankings a little bit more. But I think that could be the fight they go with. But Nikita Krylov had a fight booked with Ozdemir for October, so he's probably going to want a quick turnaround for January or something. So I don't even know what they're going to do, but I would make Smith versus Krylov. I think it's the next best fight to make in that division. Or maybe nothing else. I don't know what else they could possibly do, you know? I really don't know what they're going to do. Every other fight in the top division is booked until February, March, those kind of dates. So he's going to have to take on another young, hungry up-and-comer. Maybe an Ozdemir rematch could also be a potential fight, but I think the Krylov one makes sense. Let's give Krylov a bit of a jump up those rankings. He seems to have deserved it. He had the closest fight with Glover Teixeira out of anyone who's been in Glover Teixeira's warpath. I mean, he took Glover Teixeira to a split decision, and Teixeira might be the uncrowned champ of that division. So Anthony Smith, give the shot to Nikita Krylov. If he wins that one, he can take on like a winner of a Prochaska versus Reyes, or a winner of Santos versus Rakic. If it's Santos, maybe they can eventually make that rematch, or a loser of Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. Who knows how it's going to go, but a good fight. And Anthony Smith's probably going to jump up the rankings a little bit here, probably above Ozdemir, because for some reason they have him below Ozdemir. They have Smith at 7 and Ozdemir at 6. Smith beat Ozdemir not that long ago, but they have him below him, so he's going to move above Ozdemir. Might even move above Prochaska. You never know, because Prochaska's only beat Ozdemir, which Smith has done, and now Smith's done one more than that. So, interesting one. What a main event. 6 a.m. UK time. 6 a.m. Questioning life decisions is a very calm way of putting the way I'm feeling right now. You know? Because that card was, it was good in some moments, but it was also, I like a big enchilada at the end. You know what I mean? And I don't think there was one here. And even Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis, I mean, what would that last until 7 a.m.? Crazy. I'm dying. I'm actually dying from indigestion because my body thinks that it's sleep time, so it's starting to digest stuff. So I'm just naturally decomposing myself here. Craziness. But what should Devin Clark do? Retire, I don't know. Something like that. Devin Clark, light heavyweight division. Good performance. Not a good performance. He just sort of ran in and spazzed out a bit. But good, not good. Devin Clark, lost immediately in the first round. So Devin Clark probably should take on a guy like Clayton Farias Diabriu in the light heavyweight division, or maybe a fight like Sam Alvey. I'm trying to generate hype in this video. I'm sorry. This ain't a main event of a fight night, okay? So, I don't know. This ain't even a co-main, in my opinion. Like, why does December 19th have more good fights than a good pay-per-view? But this is this weekend's card. I mean, it's a good card, man. Good stuff, you know. Really fun. But, yeah, probably Devin Clark versus Ion Cutelaba. That'd be a decent fight, funnily enough. Devin Clark, Ion Cutelaba. Gunslinging in the first round. Probably gas out as the fight goes on, most likely. But we'll see how it goes. I'd take that fight. Cutelaba versus Devin Clark. March. Give both of them some time off. Clark needs to readjust and reassess his life decisions. Cutelaba needs to regain that chin after the Ankalaev loss. I say make that fight happen in about March. Would be an ideal situation, but we'll see what goes down. Maybe Devin Clark turns right back around because he took no damage. Tries to get back in the win column. Who knows? However, what I do know is this. I want to mention this because I feel like it needs to be mentioned. Anthony Smith made $370,000 this weekend for 2 minutes of fighting with Devin Clark. People that tell me that MMA fighters don't get paid enough, shut the fuck up. Anthony Smith made $370,000 to triangle Devin fucking Clark in the first round. Devin Clark, guess how much he made to get triangled immediately? Guess how much Devin Clark made to get triangled immediately? $110,000. Devin Clark, $110,000. Fighters get paid good fucking money, and people deny that, but they do. But goodbye. Thank you for watching. Good fight. Like and I just shit the bed this. I'm sure everyone had a shit prediction night because it was just made no sense. But all good. Smith wins. Decent one. Good performance. I'm glad for him as well because it would have been bad to see Smith retire and just fall from grace so quickly like that. You know, there was a time when people were like, oh, I don't know, the Jones versus Smith fight is kind of interesting. And now it's like he just seemed like he was losing his ability to even just be strong. You know what I mean? Like he just seemed like he lost all of his strength. And then seeing him on the scales looking like pudding shape, it was just... And then he comes out and does that. So good job, Smith. Still got the skills. See if he can beat Krylov next. I'd imagine that's a good fight to make, maybe February. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'm pissed with this card. Goodbye. I'm just going to make a full card. Full card. I can't even speak. Full card recap after this. Eee! See you later.